Everyone, and I mean everyone that has tried Iida so far has told me that he's very weak in the game. And I agreed for my first 2 or 3 games, cause then I realized how you're supposed to play him, and you know what? He's actually very decent. Today we're taking a look at Iida, one of the new characters in My Hero Ultra Rumble, and if you were one of those players that was struggling to play him, don't worry, we're here to turn that around. First, a quick character overview. Iida's mobility is one of the best in the game. He has a fast running speed by default, and he's able to run up walls. This is not an ability unique to Iida. Tsuyu can also do this, for example, but you know what Tsuyu cannot do? She cannot double jump. Yep, Iida has a double jump, which gives him insane mobility. On top of that, he also has a special action to carry a downed ally on your back. Other characters like Deku or All Might also have this ability, but they don't have Iida's speed, and they certainly cannot run up walls while carrying an ally. So even this ability feels stronger when Iida is the character you're playing as. Finally, his jumping attack is actually really good. It covers a big distance and it knocks an opponent down, so it's good for when you're out of abilities or just trying to make a quick escape and someone is chasing you. Alright, let's take a look at his skills. First up, the Alpha Quirk Recipro Wheel. Iida will spin in the direction of your cursor, dealing damage to an enemy. And you can chain up to 3 of these attacks together and they will actually combo. If the enemy gets hit by the first one, he's getting hit by the second and third ones too. It's a true combo that ends with an enemy knocked up into the air. This is not only Iida's go-to ability for damage, it's great for mobility as well, for whenever you don't have any other options available. Leveling up this ability doesn't give you much besides an attack power-up. Levels 4 and 9 have a buff to reload speed, size, and range, but this ability's range is very good from the start, and the tracking is nice too, so the size increase isn't that big of a deal. That said, each kick deals 40 damage at level 1 and 60 damage at level 9, so a 3-hit combo can go from 120 damage to 180, and that's pretty significant. Next up, his beta quirk is Recipro Burst, which is a sideways kick with mid-range. Has a lot of startup in its animation, but hits with big damage, and also has armor, not right from the start, but while Iida is traveling, he cannot be interrupted. This is Iida's most damaging ability, and the one that makes me yell at this game the most, because it's so slow at the start that you have to rely on the game's tracking, and it doesn't always do what you want. I found it to be more reliable when you activate it mid-distance. If you get too close, it misses most of the time, and it definitely works better if your enemy isn't trying to dodge, so catching them by surprise or using your superior movement to get in a good position to land this is definitely required. At level 1, this kick deals 100 damage and increases 5 damage per every level, all the way up to 140 at level 9. So a single kick deals almost the same damage as the 3 kicks from your Alpha Quirk, but you've got 2 stocks of this ability before it goes on cooldown. It absolutely melts shields and health bars. Finally, the Gamma Quirk Recipro Turbo. This is a buff to Iida's movement speed and attack speed, and to me, it's definitely his signature move, the most important quirk you have on your moveset. After you activate it, Iida will have turbo for a total of 13 seconds at level 1 or 21 seconds at level 9. There is no way to interrupt this ability. It will always expire once the meter is empty. And Iida will get a movement debuff for a couple of seconds, but that doesn't stop you from using your other abilities, which also have really good movement. And actually, I just lied. There is a way to interrupt this ability before your engine stalls, but it's highly specific. If you level it up with a card, the turbo will deactivate and trigger the cooldown without you having the movement debuff. So there's that, but I wouldn't rely on it. This ability allows Iida to spawn in a completely different place from his teammates, for instance, without being afraid of getting killed. If you're by yourself and your teammates are safe, you can loot an entire area and then meet up with your friends again. Merry Christmas, everybody, here's all the cards. And if a team fight starts, you can be there in no time. This ability is great to get in and out of a fight when you're outnumbered and carry an ally to safety. It's great to pick up an ally's revival token, and even during team fights, during actual combat. It's awesome to get in, deal some damage, harass the enemy team, and get back out. If an Iida player does not overextend and knows how to retreat before stalling his engine, he's basically unstoppable. Get in, deal your damage, get out, and heal back up again. I feel like this is where most Iida players fail. They want to go toe-to-toe with characters that are just more powerful in an all-out brawl. You cannot out-damage everybody, but you can catch them by surprise and retreat whenever you want. You control the flow of battle with your superior movement, you just gotta know when to retreat. And this ability is what allows you to do so. At level 4 and level 9, this ability not only lasts longer, it also reduces the cooldown from 20 seconds at level 1 to 15 seconds at level 9, and it increases Iida's movement speed as well. So with that said, how do you build Iida? What skills do you prioritize in the field of battle? Well, I've got 3 builds for you, but keep in mind, you don't always choose the cards that you find in battle. Sometimes you gotta run with what you got and improvise. Build number 1, the Heavy Hitter. Build Gamma 4 to increase the movement ability speed, increasing its duration to 16 seconds and lowering the cooldown for about 3 seconds. Trust me, those 3 seconds do make a difference. This immediately makes it safer to play as Iida and allows you to use this speed to loot things faster in the early game. Then you build your most damaging ability and you don't stop until the beta quirk hits that level 9. You should still use use your alpha quirk in battle, but your beta kick is going to be the priority. Keep leveling up your gamma quirk afterwards so you can stay in the fight for even longer and improve your maneuverability. Remember, positioning yourself in a way that minimizes this ability's missing is a big priority. And if you've still got the cards left, that's when you put them into your alpha skill. And now you're the king of getting in, nuking a character, and retreating back to safety. Next, build number 2, the Combo Master. Pretty much the same idea, but we use the alpha quirk as our main damage dealer instead of the beta quirk. This build does less damage than the first one, but it's much more reliable as the alpha ability can be aimed skillfully, you don't have to rely on the game's tracking all the time, and the cooldown is much smaller so you can use it a lot more often. Every time you connect with it, don't forget to do your follow-ups. They are guaranteed damage, and you only use your beta quirk when your alpha quirk is on cooldown. This build ends up being better for long team fights, so you'll feel much stronger when you reach that gamma level 9. The choice between these two builds comes down to personal preference really. Do you prefer the nuke damage from the beta quirk or the consistency from the alpha quirk? I believe each player will have a different answer. Finally, build number 3, the Speedster. This one is not about nuking the enemy team, it's more about helping your team get ahead and supporting them on everything they do. For this one, you're gonna need your teammates to carry the damage so it doesn't work with every team composition. But the idea is to go all out on your gamma quirk. This will allow you to play extremely safely. You can let your team just loot all the safe places while you venture into enemy territory, stealing all of their boxes and bringing the loot back to your team. You will also level up passively while doing this, but more importantly, you're helping your team level up faster than anyone else in the battle. Once you get that gamma quirk to level 9, you can choose which quirk to level up next, beta or alpha. It doesn't really make much of a difference, it's personal preference. But your role here isn't really to deal damage anymore, it's to get into team fights, poke at the enemy team and harass them before retreating to safety and letting your teammates pick up all the kills. You are the loot monster that made them stronger though, so be proud of what you've done. So to summarize, Iida is one of the best characters for movement, so much so that he can level up himself and his team better and faster than most characters in the early game. And he's also a great teammate when you're down and need someone to carry you, or taking the focus of battle away from you with his flashy moves. That said, this is a character that's not very good in the very late game. I mean, when the circle is getting really small, because he becomes unable to retreat. His speed isn't that big of a deal, and he also doesn't have the space to move. He's also very weak against rolling, since rolling is very efficient against melee attacks, and all he does is melee. As far as character synergy goes, I struggle to understand who Iida wants to play with. I mean, with his speed, characters like Uraraka or Kendo aren't really needed, even though they do boost his speed even further. I mean, Kendo can throw you further than normal if your turbo is on. It's hilarious. I thought Cementos would be a good match since Iida can easily climb through his wall, so they would become obstacles for the opponent, but not for Iida. And it wasn't bad, but it wasn't brilliant either. And then I found the real answer, and turns out I had been playing alongside it all along. Iida loves ranged characters. As a melee fighter, Iida is going to keep opponents busy and panicking trying to keep up with his movement. And this just gives your ranged fighters so much time and space to destroy the enemy team. Besides, you actually don't want anyone in the melee range ruining your combos, so any character that excels from the long range is going to be Iida's best friend. And that's an Iida overview. Hopefully you can do better with this character now if you were struggling before. And if you're looking for an overview for Kaminari Denki, look no further. We've got one right here. Thanks for watching. Bye.